If there is no humor in the presentation, like Dave said, everybody goes to sleep. So, as a striving speaker, I will be using lots of humor, and I hope the chair and audience will take it as my attempt to be smart, not naughty. Anyways, naughty after 40 is not cool. And psychiatry is the specialty which is loved by. I take that as a great love from our fraternity. You know why? Because the burden of mental health is so huge. You alone and with so few psychiatrists in Nepal, we cannot carry it. This was in 19th century, I guess. Have you heard of Lancet, how it came into existence? In 19th century England, what happened was there was a rivalry between the traditional doctors who came as a doctor from their ancestors without any formal education, and those who came out from the university. And obviously both of them claimed that they are the right ones. So the university graduates could not win the battle because century-old practice was so overwhelming and so well accepted. So what they did is they decided to make a newsletter and named it Lancet. By that, I think you all know, by that they meant to cheer far. You know, they meant to bring into light the right thing and you know, bring into light what is right and what is not right. That's how Lancet came into being. Talking about our part of the world, I think we are way behind, and it's high time that something like that has to come. You can see the faces of Western lady. This slide clearly shows how people at large think about us as a doctor. It is global, not only in Nepal. See, in this globe we are this tiny country, and with less number of psychiatrists, and it's still the same. We have witnessed several such incidences. Today one of my poetry book is going to be released. In that book you will find 2 poems written on how doctors are treated in Nepal. Till now I think you are feeling it, the presentation is going to be gloomy. Don't worry, you will have a roller coaster ride ahead. You know, this is how the administration thinks of doctors if you go to them with problems. And nobody seems to come forward and talk about this. You know, in my 17 years of working in Pokhara, there must have been 70 cases of vandalism, 70 cases of doctors being criticized or beaten, hospital torn apart. But we never sit. I have not seen, I don't know, Dr. Abhishek is here. A very bad incident happened in Manipal Teaching Hospital recently. Do we actually sit back and see what is wrong in our part of our part? I don't see that happening. And that is what I emphasize that we should do. only blaming the other side of the table is not the solution. So here I am today, talking in this dark environment. In this presentation, you will obviously feel, ये क्या हो रहा है? Certain disclaimers, full of humor, so 18 plus. I hope we don't have minors here. If there are any minors, please sit with, they should be in parental care. Log out nahi kahunga. I'll make sure that it doesn't happen. And surely you will bend at least 5 fingers going out of this hall saying that I've learned this much at least. I've been getting quite good review in my presentation, so I hope I'll maintain that today also. You see, learning happens through 5 modalities, the 5 sensory organs. Whatever we communicate to the world through 5 sensory organs, right? And just one, I don't want to just use one sensory organ. I want to use as many of them as possible. And my another bad experience in Pokhara is CMEs are not taken warmly. It doesn't seem to be happening. Very few are interested. While I think it should be a regular phenomenon. At least once a month we should sit together and scrutinize what went wrong, what went right. Talking about communication, in Nepal I think our communication is so bad. I think also in India, do you have such words? I think you have. मैले तलाई के भने, तैले मलाई के भनिस्, मैले नि तलाई के भने, के भनाभन भयो, के त्यसैले आज के भयो, के साँच्ची ओइ भएको चाहिँ के थाहै छैन के एउटाले कम्युनिकेट गरिरहेछ अर्कोले बुझेको छैन. So I'll be using Nepali, sometimes Hindi and English. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not fluent in Spanish, so spare me for that. This is one slide we need to understand. Still, we'll see that in our family, our parents or grandparents would be very happy if we speak English. Both padha likha aadmi. So what happened is once Lalu Prasad Yadav, when he was chief minister, visited England and he returns and tells in the assembly that in England everybody speaks English. They are so well educated. And then he started English schools. Started teaching English in the schools. See, that was a joke. Okay, getting something else, you know, because every word, every sentence has multiple meanings. Especially it is true in our part of the world. You know, we use a lot of double, triple meaning words. So don't be confused and ask me if there is anything, and don't take home wrong messages from here. So the roller coaster begins. What I'll do is I'll talk about psychiatry in Nepal, challenges, opportunities, and some take-home message. त्यो ट्रेलर थियो बल्ल सुरु भयो. You know, we struggle a lot to become a psychiatrist. From after passing the hardest subject in this world, that is MBBS, we work for a few years and then we give entrance and then enter MD education. And till then, we think the career path is very smooth. In the medical school, we are given these stars to carry. But are we really able to carry it with us in the practice? These are the 4 guidelines we all know. But do we carry them forward, or is it possible to carry them in the practice scenario that we have? Talking about timeline, if you see, it was in 1961 that we got our first psychiatrist, sir. And it took 10 more years, 1 decade, for the second one to arrive. But if you see the graph, after I was 40th psychiatrist in 2007. From then onwards, you can see the graph is going steep. And now we have 200 plus registered psychiatrists in Nepal. I don't know the count of psychiatrists who are currently not practicing in Nepal, but 200 plus numbers we are now. Some may not be registered to Psychiatrists Association of Nepal also. Challenges ke cha ta, you know? Challenges begins from the time you pass psychiatry and come into practice. Yes, we are not very highly paid, if that is what you choose as a priority. But if that is not only thing that is your priority, but there is a lot of respect in the field. If you ask, you know, nowadays the patient party are so aware that the practice has changed, and how it has changed, it will come in later slides. Now they go through Google. It is there in, I think, Western practice. Sometimes being in Pokhara, we come across some patient from England, America, Australia, and they just come to us because they finished the refill that they brought from there, just for prescription, and they know each and everything about their illness. Actually, they own their illness. That's why they are so independent, which is not true in our part. Once the patient is diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder, he loses his independence in most of the time, which is very challenging. अब यो पनि भन्ने बेला भइसक्यो हैन. I don't know if there is any price limitation or fees limitation for other worker, other field, but unfortunately for doctors there is fees limitation in given by the health minister. Sir, is it there in India, sir? Here
it's not there, but already Supreme Court has said that all the private hospitals should follow CGHS rates. So there is huge debate going on.
They don't have that for a plumber. Very recently I had to call a plumber, and You know how much they charge for a visit? Anybody? Guess? 1,500. 1,500, sir. And they proudly ask for it, and we have no choice. We do sacrifice a lot of things for being a doctor. We sacrifice our social life, fun, sleep for duties and exams. This is how a house with a doctor and businessman look like. Doctor ko gari kun hola. But society's perception is different, you know. They think, not only society, even the politician, the administrators, they think doctor है तो ये पैसों का क्या करते हैं, मनी प्लांट ही होगा इसके पास. So, and it is more painful when they say that के हो र त्यो हैन, MBBS गर्यो MD गर्यो के नै ठुलो कुरा हो. And there are probably as many public misconceptions of what psychiatrists actually do as there are about the training needed to become one. Our colleague would say, psychiatry ma ke huncha ra? No. Gini chuni 10 goliyan hain. This is the challenges we have, okay? Then what happens is, in the race, in the cat race to earn more, we forget our Hippocrates oath and it becomes hypocrite's oath. We do not give much time to the patient. And we think Goli can cure all the illnesses. I'm going to make some strong statement here. I hope some of you will contradict me. Only medicine cannot cure any illness, or even the surgery. Only surgery cannot cure any illness. It needs a lot of other factors, like Dr. Sunita this morning talked about. Those are also important factors which we haven't given importance. So sometimes I feel like I am a Gabbar Singh, 007, who has license to kill. Goli kha. And this is what you choose to become, then it's really gloomy. We forget this age-old secret. The great secret of medicine known to doctors but still hidden from the public is that most things get better by themselves. Do you all know what is the meaning of a doctor? Anybody? Healer? No. The meaning of doctor is to teach. We have made it TEACH, huncha हैन? We have made it TEACSE. Like I said, so many things happens around us, but we cannot speak publicly about what is going on. But these are the places where we should be speaking and correcting. Wrong is wrong, always. talking about workload, it's huge. We don't have time for our family. Doctor's comfortable chair looks like this. It is, I don't know. Things keeps on changing, New things comes up. I don't know, maybe someday sir will be prescribing anti-WhatsApp medicine. Or a hospital floor will look like this. First floor for Facebook. And the society doesn't leave us even when we are near to death. And this Sir William Wosler has said this thing. When he fails to be a student, he dies. We all know we have to be updated all the time or we'll be washed out. So the misconception about psychiatrists is they think we have Gini-Chuni 10 medicine. We just talk to the patient and then prescribe those 10 medicines. We we have to break this barrier. When I was the General Secretary in PAN, many young psychiatrists would come to me and say that, Doctor, the Phalana cardiologist, he writes olanzapine, he writes escitalopram. We cannot do anything about that. You work in the same hospital where a cardiologist is prescribing that medicine. That means you have not proven to them that you are the better person to prescribe that medicine. Accept that fact and try to prove to them. You have to convince them. Okay, it was not long time back, medicine, psychiatrists were not there, only medicine people who used to treat psychiatric problems, right? It will take long time to wash that out. So, we have to prove to them. And they think that psychiatry में ज़्यादा कुछ मालूम नहीं है. We don't know much about psychiatry. That's very wrong. We know a lot about psychiatry and we know a lot about psychiatric illnesses. Do you know how malaria was coined? That is the example I give to them. Malaria. Malaria. Okay. When suddenly there was a typical type of fever in some part of the world, the expert at that time had no clue. So they thought probably because of high density, because of sanitation problem, the air is bad, so it could be due to that factor. Okay, so they still the name remains the same. But don't you think at that time when they corrected the sanitation, when they corrected the overpopulation, malaria got down? That was also a treatment. So, we are not in that state still. We are more ahead of that. We know a lot more than what they knew about malaria at that time. A lot more. And sometimes I claim to them that psychiatric disorders are more scientific than many of your disorders, many of the disorders that you see. Do you agree with me? It is very scientific, believe me. If you go through CTP, if you go through psychiatric textbook, it is very scientific. It's not because we are not lagging behind. We are, if not at par, we are in the equal footage to any other specialty. And they say that all scientific studies stand on the shoulder of giants, right? It's not that we didn't have giants in the field of psychiatry and psychiatry research. Only thing is, the research is inherently tough. The frontier is inherently tough. We couldn't do animal study and duplicate in female because what we are treating is not developed in the animals. So it's not that we didn't have research. If you go through research studies, I think compared to other specialty, psychiatry research is more. Sir, please correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I see. So we are very much ahead in research as well. I'm not talking about this part of the world, okay? In where research is being done. So the frontier is tough. We don't have animal study to, and a lot of things do not have etiology, you know. A lot of things in this world has no etiology. Even in medicine, there are many illnesses. You can name few. Okay, hypertension. 95% of time, what is the etiology? Idiopathic. A word coined by an idiot to save another idiot. That is idiopathic. Still, treatment is going on, right? So that another thing that we are burdened with is this stress stigma. When earthquake happened, one of the consultant, I'll not name, came to me and says that, Dr. Nirmal, now your patient will rise. I said, then sir, why don't you open a very cheap confectionery, sell the confectionery for free, then you will get a lot of diabetes patient. Is it that simple? Chini khaँदैमा diabetes हुने हो र? Stress हुँदैमा mental illness हुने हो र? No. Stress has no more and no less effect in mental health as it has in any physical health. And it is proven scientifically. It's not me standing here and just saying something. It is scientifically proven. If you see this slide, stress. Do you watch? We all watch movies, right? When there is stress, the person starts holding the chest. What happened to him? स्ट्रेस से उसको डिप्रेशन होना चाहिए ना सर, चेस्ट पकड़ के बैठता है. You know, whatever weaknesses you have endogenously, stress will help in precipitating that illness. If you have weak heart, stress will bring forward your cardiac illness. Same is true for any other function of the body. Hang by the keyboard. And another challenge we have is from the pharmaceutical companies, you know. I don't know why. Dr. Abhishek has left for 1 month because the name was similar and the pharmacist gave the wrong medicine. And this is another big challenge now we have as a doctor is businessization of medical practice. I don't know if it's right or wrong, Mm, I heard that the management give you a target, and medical professions should not work like that. This is what happens when medical profession is businessalized. Does that word exist? No. Government policy is also not very favorable to us. It's a joke, and those who see, I tried to save that man. I killed a man and you. So both are going in the same van. See, such thing also happens. This was an incident in Dolkha, I don't know if you know, where doctors, without having any, if you are really angry, go to your house and do this, not to the patient. So the take-home message is, if you practice this 4, nobody is going to stop you. Okay. Let me be honest with you. To practice this 4, it's not always possible. But if you are even close to this 4, you will be unstoppable in your practice. What others would say, Phalanole ke bhanlan, don't bother about that. Phalano always, ये 4 लोग को कौन होते हैं सर? बचपन से हमें कहते हैं ना कि ये मत करो बेटा, 4 लोग क्या कहेंगे, हैं? मैंने तो 4 लोग कभी देखा ही नहीं. And you don't have to be brilliant to be a doctor. You have to be hardworking and have good character. That's what makes a good doctor. Don't let your dignity be shattered by anybody. Your dignity is your strength. Let doctor, and I don't see a teamwork in our healthcare system. I remember a department of gynecology and obstetrics in any hospital. Sir, have you seen a department of gynecology and obstetrics in any hospital where they live amicably? I don't know. You will see this in most of the departments, you know. And you'll be amazed that your colleague with whom you studied for 5-6 years and 3 years residency will be your khutta tanni manche ke. Then isn't that achamma? So wherever you go, try to make a team as a practice, and your team comprises of you in the center, other specialist doctors, family caregivers, pharmacy, otherwise a lady will be given prostate medicine, nurse, physician, health coach. This is what we do in busy hospital. You can come and see how we function. Change your handwriting, okay? Success comes from collaboration and cooperation, not by conflict and competition. Unfortunately, that's what we see around. You people, from the very beginning, if you don't do that, you will be successful. मंजिल मिले ना मिले ये तो मुकद्दर की बात है, हम कोशिश भी ना करें ये तो गलत बात है. You never fail until you stop trying. And everybody has right and wrong. You should always take right from that team. Nobody is perfect. And I am nobody. Mistakes are human. Okay, but you have to accept that. Accepting that mistake is a courage. So from now onwards, let's keep out all the bad things and start anew. Every new day is another chance to change your life. Ego ले त बर्बादै बनाउँछ. अब मैले यो भन्दै गर्दाखेरि हैन, who wants to change भन्यो भने सबैले हात उठाउँछ के, who wants to change. Who wants change भन्यो भने सबैले हात उठाउँछ हैन. Who wants to change भन्यो भने कसैले हात उठाउँदैन के फेरि. Don't worry, it only takes one person to change your life. You. It will take time, हैन. Patience हुनु पर्यो. Rome was not built in a day, हैन र. So if you agree with me, you come to my page. If not, I don't care. Presentation.